Good evening, everyone. I'm Fox 11 meteorologist Audrey Leigh. We're talking about a chance for some strong, maybe severe thunderstorms on your Saturday, and we'll also talk about how this could potentially impact the preseason Packers game starting at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. So starting off this evening, we're talking about that severe weather index that's going to be at moderate. We're looking at some showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow. Now, our severe weather outlook given by the Storm Prediction Center does have us in a slight risk for northeast Wisconsin. So that does include areas such as Sturgeon Bay, Greenbay, Appleton, Manitowoc, Oshkosh, even all the way down to Milwaukee, Madison area. That's a level 2 out of 5. So that's covered in yellow. That's that slight risk. And our main threats are going to be damaging winds and heavy rainfall. So here's what we're expected to see. Right now, looking at clouds and radar for this evening, we're seeing clouds trying to usher in ahead of a cold front sitting out to our west, approaching areas such as Minnesota. This cold front is what we're going to be seeing, bringing in those thunderstorms tomorrow. That's going to slide eastward, bringing in the thunderstorms likely in the morning, also trying to cool down temperatures. So it was definitely hot today. We had those temperatures in the 90s and made it feel like 95 plus. Some areas got close to 100 degrees for that heat index with that. So that was because of that warm front we got the other day. Now we're seeing a cold front, and that should push out a lot of the heat. Not so much those dew points. It's still going to be humid, but the other thing we're talking about with that cold front is those thunderstorms trying to push in. So here's what we're expecting. We're on storm watch as we get into tomorrow. We're looking at likely morning storms, gusty winds, and also some heavy rain associated with that. So that's going to be right around the mid-morning hours here in northeast Wisconsin. Morning showers and some heavy rain. Then afternoon thunderstorms will be possible. Now, it's really going to depend on those morning thunderstorms. And the reason for that is because if we see the morning rain linger, afternoon storm chances are really going to decrease, and that's because we're just not going to have enough storm fuel, because we're not going to dry out. We're not going to get a lot of that daytime heating because rain tends to cool down the atmosphere. So if we see the rain from the morning linger into the afternoon, evening thunderstorm chances really start going down. But if we see that morning rain clear out, let's say right around noon, 1 o'clock, we get a few hours of that daytime heating, some sunshine, or just dry weather in general, the storm fuel is going to start increasing, and that's when we could see those chances for thunderstorms arriving. So really dependent on those morning's thunderstorms that we're going to see tomorrow. Here's that future track as we get into tomorrow morning. Looking at 8 o'clock, notice areas such as Eau Claire approaching Wausau right around 8 o'clock really have this thick thunderstorm in the area, bringing in heavy rainfall. That's a heavy rainfall we're talking about. But watch as it gets closer to northeast Wisconsin. We kind of start seeing those thunderstorms trying to break up in the area. Really going to be over central Wisconsin, approaching northeast, approaching areas such as Greenbay, Appleton, Oshkosh. That's right around 11 o'clock. Now we get into the afternoon. This forecast model is trying to push in those afternoon thunderstorms. That's going to be from the morning into the afternoon. Now, I do think with this weakening, we could still see some heavy rainfall, but it looks like we're really not going to see any redevelopments as we get into the evening or late afternoon, evening hours of any thunderstorms, which is good if you're attending the Packers game tomorrow night. That means it could end up being dry right around the 7 o'clock. But again, as I said, if we see those thunderstorms, if we get a dry period of weather, we could see thunderstorms redevelop. But it looks like those thunderstorms that start out east starts pushing in mid to late morning, continuing into the afternoon. That can definitely bring in or lower that risk for severe storms later in the day. Now, not to say those morning showers are not going to be heavy. We'll definitely see some heavier thunderstorms or heavy showers with those thunderstorms. And by the time we get into Sunday, maybe an isolated shower or two. It's really going to be rainy on a Saturday. And in terms of how much rain, upwards to about an inch or two in the area. Notice this track of this forecast model pushing in areas such as Green Bay, even Manitowoc towards Milwaukee. I know the Milwaukee National Weather Service actually did issue a flood watch for this area, such as Sheboygan and further south. The Green Bay National Weather Service office hasn't issued one yet, but that just indicates that we could have that potential to watch for some heavy rain associated with this. And we're looking at about an inch, maybe an inch and a half, upwards to about an isolated 2 inches in some areas from that storm system, especially out west, where I really think we're going to see more areas upwards to about 2 inches. So here's that planner for the Packers game. Right now, I still have some of those rain chances in as a Possibility that they could occur right around 7 o'clock, but keep in mind, looks like as of right now, those rain chances try to decrease as we get closer to game time hours tomorrow. So that is the good news. But again, that's that current model from this afternoon that's been updated, bringing in mostly that threat in the morning hours. Could see some thunderstorms, heavy rain and damaging winds. So just keep an eye on the forecast. We'll have all your details coming up tonight at 9 and 10. And Phil will be in tomorrow morning for Good Day starting at 6 a.m.